well, best part of 60, I think it might have been 56 actually, separated them into 4 squads, named them after 4 colours, went up to the Mulpanny, because the TU ground is undergoing significant renovation, and the benefit of the Mulpanny, you've got the lower ground and the upper ground. So they used those 4 squads then to play out against each other, almost in kind of virtual trials, and it meant that Stuart Law got to see all the players straight off the bat.
Yeah, I was actually reading about that. They were calling it a high-intensity core camp. Yeah, 52 players. And the fact that they had quite seasoned players in there as well as new talent coming through, and almost like an extended, I guess, audition process, or just to try and expose and get an understanding of the depth of talent that exists in the country. So just bringing your attention to that, both 9 of 21, Cross and McCreath, and that is just emphasising the fact I do think it's difficult to get yourself in on this pitch, especially when they're bowling well.
What better time than to get Dipender Singh Airi into the attack as a misfield, a rare thing. You won't see that too often from the outfield. In Nepal, Arif Sheikh just lets a fumble through his hands. End of the 33rd, it is 180 for 4. Get a look at the bowling options for Nepal. Still nothing from Dipender Singh Airi. No Rohit Paudel, of course, either. He's very much an option with his off breaks. And maybe most surprisingly, no Gulshan Jha.
So the 6 used so far. What's your unders and overs on how many they'll end up using? What do you reckon?
They'll probably end up using 7. Gulshan or Dipender surely will be given a bowl at some point. But he seems very much to want to continue to rotate his more experienced bowlers. The other problem is, historically, over the last 3 or 4 years, they've had real death bowling issues, real problems at the end of the innings. And Karen Casey and Cami, for all their qualities, Cami has been used a bit more effectively at the death, but they won't use Karen Casey at the death. So it's tended to be kind of Sampal Cami and Dipender Singh Airi as the 2 primary death options. Gulshan Jha has done a little bit of it as well. And Sandeep Lamachani's actually done it too. So I think what we're seeing is Rohit wants to get his overs of Karen KC used up, but I can't quite explain the lack of use of Gulshan Jha or Dipender Singh Airi for the moment.
And this is the time too. You do feel that this is a vulnerable time for Scotland. Both these players just not really getting going, but the longer they're out there.
Yeah, big appeal, and umpire Ghazi is unmoved. Finlay McCreath seems to indicate it might have flicked possibly the trouser or something on the thigh pad. Or the pad, is it? No bat there.
They seemed absolutely convinced. That was probably the most vocal of the various appeals that we've had. But yeah, just if you even go back to Charlie Tier himself, it took him a while to really get going. It took McMullen quite a while to get going.
Good phase this for Nepal. They're fighting hard in conditions that are not easy for them. What do you think, on what looks like a good batting surface, what do you think they can realistically try and chase down?
Well, I mean, I felt like that in the 300 to 350 looked like it would be a score that you'd want to get yourselves to. But just this period here has really put the squeeze on Scotland. I still think they have got power to come, though. I think they'll certainly, you'd want to be trying to keep Scotland under 320. Again, early on in the innings, we did see there have been some swing early on with the 2 new balls. And Scotland have certainly got options when it comes to swing, and we may well see too when the likes of Brandon McMullen is bowling, Matt Cross standing up to the stumps. We know he does that a lot to Scotland's bowlers, and very effectively too.
Just seeing if we can see Gyanendra Malla there.
Don't hold back, 'cause you woke up in the morning with initiative to move, so I make a harder. Don't hold back. Galvanize.
Trajectory and balance look good. You're confirmed to go for orbit.
Every day, Michelin innovates to move the world forward on the road and far beyond. Michelin, motion for life.
It is absolutely freezing, I promise you that. I've got two beanies today, the Kevin O'Brien Cricket Academy one and the Cricket Ireland one that I was gifted last week during that West Indies series, so I can lend you one of them.
Well, I managed to get my hands on one of those beanies, Cricket Ireland beanies, when I was over there for the women's series against England last summer.
Swept around the corner, going to be swept for four. It's a good stroke. Kushal Bertel brought back into the attack. It's an attacking option from Rohit Powell, but Cross immediately puts away what was a pretty poor delivery.
The first one in a while. They've been very tight in this period after Richie Berrington was out. And that one, though, it just sat up nicely. Straying down the leg side, a little bit too straight. Cross makes no mistake.
Probably not a bad time, Mel, just to alert people, to those who are watching. You do want to get in touch, you can use that hashtag CWCL2. Lovely to hear. Got plenty of messages already from right the way across Nepal. And one of the things I love about covering Nepal games, not just those in Nepal, but then they have an incredibly large diaspora around the world, Mel. North America, Europe, all parts of Europe. Down in Australia, there's a huge Nepalese community, and in New Zealand too. In the Middle East, plenty of Nepalese workers too. So get in touch, use that hashtag CWCL. Get in touch directly. You can get me, Andrew Leonard. About shifting gears, but if you have any questions about the structure of this tournament, Nepal's chances over the next 24 remaining ODIs that they have across the 2 years or 18 months or so now, or anything else at all, get in touch with me, Andrew Leonard, or Mel Farrell, my co-commentator, hashtag CWCL2. We'll get to those questions as we can. CWCL2, we'll get to those questions as we can. 35 bowled, it's 100 and... Will be time for that seventh bowler. Gulshan Jad's going to be not Dipendra Singh Airi. May mean we'll see the big, tall young all-rounder who remarkably is still a teenager. Might see him bowl at the death. He'll come in from the pavilion end. And then for